Hey folks, it's Ben. Here's an update on the Case 155. I've been doing some work. I haven't been filming it because I'm a dink, but anywho, what we have is it's been going along fine. The tires for it are flatter than flat, right? They're tubeless. So that's a problem because, yeah, they have holes in them and they leak really bad. See how cracked they are and stuff. They won't hold air anymore. But the Gilson did have good tires on it. So we've taken the rear ones off. The bolt pattern is close enough. So we put the rear tires on the Case and they hold air great. The front tires are pretty crappy on the Case as well. So hopefully the Gilson will also be able to donate those as well. But once we got the rear tires, we could move it because on flat tires it's just a bear. And so we're back to where we were in the last video where we could squirt gasoline down the carburetor and it would run, but that was about it. So you can see I've got a variety of chargers and batteries here. It takes quite a bit to get this thing to turn over because I don't have one good battery for it. So it's kind of a hodgepodge of stuff going on. So back into real land here. The tank had fuel in it and it comes down to the fuel pump that's right here. And then it comes up to the carburetor in the bowl. So what I did was I dropped the bowl, and I've already kind of done this. I've already dropped the bowl and it was full of gelatin. It's like, ugh, this is not good because that means the carburetor is probably full of gelatin too. So the two bolts here on each side, undo the throttle bolt up here and take the choke off it. It just comes off. Went through and pulled the needles out and cleaned everything, every little orifice I could in there. We put it back together. And I was missing a gasket. They had used some sort of sealant on the bottom here, so I put a gasket on the bottom nut there, so it actually even holds fuel now. I just have to make the initial setting for the jets, which I think I did wrong. I did 1 1/4, but according to the owner's manual, it's got to be at least 2 1/2. So, but my issue is that it'll start and run on its own now, but only with choke on. It won't run without choke, which means I'm starving it for fuel. Digging around the internet for parts. Honestly, I've already ordered a piece of crap $20 carburetor for it. Even if I get this one running cherry, it'd be nice to have that spare one, and especially really cheap. That's fantastic. So things are just trucking along great for the Case. And I'll still up the camera now, and I'll show you exactly what's going on. I'll readjust the carburetor, which includes the main jet, which is located right here. And then we have our low idle jet, I believe, which is right there. And a variety of batteries. So if we can get her to idle and run without the carburetor, that's great. And at least we'll get it so that we can change the oil on that. So I'll go ahead and set up a tripod and let's rock this. Okay, so I have the carburetor set to an initial, I forget which way it goes, but the main jet's 2 1/2 back. The idle jet is 2 back. That should get us approximately where we need to be. The oil needs to be changed, so no matter what we'll do, we'll change that today. But we should be good to go. My brake's a little sticky, so it's actually stuck on. Steering's actually not connected yet, so we got that going for us. But let's just take a peek, see if we can get her going. I need some hearing protection. Ignition on. Choke is on. Throttle is wide open. Let's see if she'll give me a little bit of love here. We are in neutral. So. Okay, I wasn't expecting it to run just like that, so awesome. Let's go ahead and change the oil and obviously tighten up the muffler. And then we've got to get it ready for some rolling around. So we've got to check the hydraulic oil for the drive and see if we can maybe get this thing down the road a little bit. That'd be kind of cool to try out, see if we can blow some hoses or something. Sweet. And we're back. Let's change the oil. Oil on a Case is just like any other truck. They're really easy to change, I guess. I haven't run into any cases where it's difficult. There is a little square drain, which I guess if I put my camera this way and hold my finger, there's a little square plug you undo and the oil comes out. And then it's kind of not very modern. This little square plug here is actually your fill and your level. There's a, I'll take it out for you. There's a little I only have it hand tight because that's really all it needs to be. A stick on it with the crosshairs there. Now I changed the oil. I put in as much 30 weight as I had, which was about half a quart, and then the rest is 5W30, which might be a little thin, but it's all I have and it's better than the old crap. Now I was gonna fire it up, but it's like, well, let's check on the hydraulic system first, because here's a hydraulic pump right here. The reservoir is actually under the seat. So, and the seat doesn't easily come up, which is weird again. Good job, case, I guess. But there is a hole you see right there. Here's the plug for it. And according to the internet, which I kind of believe, there's the vent hole too, it's supposed to be about an inch below the hole. Well, I can stick my entire finger down the hole and not feel any oil. So that means that this is probably empty. And looking around, there's enough, you know, leakage on seals and things like that, that I'm pretty sure it's low. But I don't know A, what's in it, and B, the quality of it. It could be crap. So instead of starting the machine up again and potentially harm the pump, which might be pumping crap, or being starved because there's a screen, we're gonna drain out the hydraulic fluid. The hydraulic fluid isn't hydraulic fluid. Apparently, I think it's a 20 weight 50 motor oil. For this case, it's not hydrostatic, it's hydraulic. So it's got a little bit different in terms of how it operates. So it runs on motor oil. So I don't have any 20W50 and I don't have 2 gallons of it. So that's pretty much what the system will take to fill. So what I'm gonna do is leave it as a teaser video. No, we'll drain out the system, and apparently there is a screen behind the intake of the pump right there. So we'll disconnect that line and we'll take that screen out and we'll inspect. Now my drip pan won't hold 2 gallons, so let's see how this goes. Ooh. It's really liquidy for, yep, and it's gonna be going back in. That's, the good news story is, there was oil in it. The bad news story is I'm gonna overfill this thing. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, let's drain that off and get another one. Alright. Part 2. It looks okay. It's still kind of clear. Seems kind of liquidy though for a 20W50. But it is motor oil, so that's correct. So I took the top off because I wanted to inspect the gears, which look great. And I also want to check that screen, which is right straight down below my finger there. Because I told if that's dirty, that's not great. But to take it off, I would actually need to separate the hydraulic line right there, and that's not something I wanted to do because, you know, it's really on there and it's been there for a while. And in this, it looks super clean, so we're gonna leave it. It's there in case a gear set breaks or something along those lines. Here's the motor, and then when you move this lever, you're actually moving it from that gear to that gear, if it would rotate a little bit. But so that's high speed and low speed, essentially, in neutral. So that's how that kind of works. But it's all good in here. It's nothing awful. So we're going to clean this up, clean the lid off, which if you want to come over here, here's the lid. And it's nice and clean underneath, so we'll clean that up a little bit more and then we'll put it back down. The gasket's there, still on there. No, I'm not going to mess with that. So this all looks good. We'll refill it with oil once we get the cap back on, and it's about 1 to 2 inches below the fill hole, and we'll be good on the transmission side of things. So happy luck there. Okay, so with that inspection being good, no real wear and tear, we'll go ahead and fill it with 10 quarts of oil. We're at a slight angle here, so about 2 inches below the hole would be fine, and I'm told 10 quarts will do it. So I've got some 20W50 motor oil, which ought to be good, but my funnel is too small or too big to fit in the hole. So I'm gonna see if I can pour it in, make a mess. That sounds fun. I'm sure once I drip a little bit, I'll get it. It'll be all good, right? Yeah. Camera person says yes. Sweet. Okay, so we did the hydrostat or the hydraulic oil, so that's full. So now we can kind of dink around with it and see if it actually works. So let's hope that it'll start and run. And then when it's running, we can start dinking around with like the hydraulics back here, see if we can get the tiller to even move. So that would be exciting as well. So I rehooked up the car battery to help boost us up. Brake's still kind of locked on. Ignition. Choke is on. Because I don't have any low idle, and she's got some blow by the piston. This must be speed for my tiller, but I'm not 100% sure, but definitely forward or backward, so that's cool. No massive leaks either, and it goes forward and backwards, so we're looking great there with the new engine oil and the new transmission oil. Successfully changed the tube on one, actually added a tube. Let me show you the next one. The second tire we're going to put a tube on. It's a 16 by 6.5 by 8 inch wheel. And there's some modifications we have to do to it, but long story short, it's got its own video, so I'm going to link to it right now with the card, so you can click on that and find out about tires. But just needless to say, both front tires now have tubes. Last thing I have to fix on this tractor is the steering mechanism has fallen out from the frame, and you can see there was a snap ring or something that was up here that held it in place, and it's gone, so it just falls right out. And that meshes with the gear right from the steering wheel up here, which is why it freely spins, and that's how you steer the tractors, by essentially making that pivot on the joint. I've lubricated it lightly. We'll lubricate it more once it's on there, but I've got to take these snap ring pliers and get this ring over and into the groove so that it holds itself up. So I got to put it up underneath and then put the snap ring on, and hopefully we'll be good. But what I wanted to do, and I'll do it for the camera too, is test fit the snap ring to make sure it'll fit in the groove just right. No point in messing with the thing if it's gonna be a pain in the butt down here. But be able to open that right up, FUD right in the ring, and yeah, see, that's perfect right there. So that's what we'll do just under the tractor. So the first startup of the tractor as a complete tractor. Brakes even work. We won't use them though.
questions or comments down below. And be sure to subscribe to my channel for awesome updates on what I'm doing. Please check out the next video I've got lined up for you, and also check out my Patreon page if you want to support what we're doing here. And finally, check out my other less tractory page, Red Barn Homestead. You can subscribe to that too, see some awesome stuff. And we'll see you next time.